Alerts are now issued as a dangerous heat setup is expected for a lot of the country in the coming days. Some big storms will also be amidst this pattern, and this video has the latest details on everything you need to know. Before I dive deeper into today's video, I would love it if you would answer my question of the day down in the comments section below. Are you under one of those heat alerts shown on the right side of this graphic? As of the time of this video on Sunday evening, are you in the orange, which is the heat advisory, or even the red, which is the extreme heat warning? I'd love to hear from you down below, along with any other comments and questions you have after the video. With that being said, I want to go ahead and jump into an overview of the mid-level atmospheric pattern and how what goes on in the atmosphere this week will dictate what occurs closer to the surface. Let's start this playthrough as we go into the Monday, June 23rd timeframe, where the big trend is going to be a lot of oranges and reds expanding from the central and then especially into the eastern U.S. The center of a big high-pressure system will be pushing the jet stream north, and this is going to create an expanding heat dome as we go through the early to even the mid and late part of this week. Whenever you have a heat dome in the middle of summer, like I've been stressing, that means temperatures will be even warmer than where we should be for an average summertime day. Many zones will be getting up towards 100 degrees, if not with the actual temperature, than with the heat index. While conditions directly underneath this ridge might be on the drier side, the periphery of the ridge is where we will be able to see some stormy systems trying to slide on against it. That is going to occur as we see the blue areas or troughs in the jet stream diving on down and up against the ridge. That is going to create more of a roller coaster of some storminess and some active weather, stretching anywhere from places like the high plains through the north central plains and even on over into the northeastern U.S. As the week rolls on beyond Monday, the ridge is generally only going to weaken a little bit, and it will continue to provide more in the way of dangerous heat to these same zones from especially the Mississippi River Valley eastbound. With that being said, though, you can notice that there are a lot more whites being shown on this map. That indicates that there will be areas of a little bit less ridging and a little bit more in the way of troughing, or at least some weaker jet stream energy trying to flow on through the pattern. As that occurs, moving off the southeastern shores of the U.S. and a bit inland from the Rockies region and trying to get into the plains, and then even coming out of the southern part of Canada and up against the ridge, that will help in increasing storm chances for more zones than just where we see the strongest jet stream energy in the north central U.S. That will also help in providing relief to the heat each day, as storms that fire up, of course, will cool the temperatures down. Here's a quick reminder that the awesome weather bell model maps I use in my videos are available to you with the free trial link below. By getting a membership that involves the trial and then a subscription, you will have access at your fingertips to the same maps I use to forecast the weather. Let's go ahead and dive deeper into an overview of which areas will be active and how the active weather is set to expand as we go through this week. Starting into Monday, where the active weather will not have yet expanded, you can see that we are going to just be generally seeing one main boundary sparking off our storms. That is going to be a cold front extending from parts of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan through Wisconsin, parts of Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, and even back to the east side of the Rockies and eastern New Mexico. In the zones where you see especially those darker greens moving out of the central plains and into the upper Midwest, that's where we're going to get the better chance for some more widespread thunderstorm development late on Monday, as we will be ahead of a front and in a zone with plenty of heat. Some of those storms could be severe, and I'll break that down in more detail in a couple of minutes. Elsewhere, things will be generally drier, especially as Monday rolls on. Nothing will be very long-lived in terms of pop-up storm development unless you're along that front. And the same will go as that general boundary continues sinking south and eastward into the Tuesday timeframe. It will have expanded on out of southeast Canada and into the interior northeast by Tuesday afternoon and evening. We could see a few stronger storms there. The better chance for strong storms will still be back to parts of the central plains as well as the lower Great Lakes vicinity. Notice again, underneath the ridge from the lower Mississippi Valley into the southeast U.S., there's a few light greens indicating the possibility of some storms. Generally, though, energy will be very weak in these zones until we get a little bit of some low pressure trying to penetrate the ridge as we get deeper through this week. Notice how that occurs more by the time we get towards Wednesday. In addition to that corridor in the central and north central U.S., where we will have boundaries pushing up against the ridge, firing up storms, we will also have a little bit of a boundary trying to push up against the southern side of the ridge, coming off the coastal zones of Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas. Even into Alabama and parts of Tennessee, that boundary could already be impacting you with a better chance of some storms that could bring relief to the heat on Wednesday into Wednesday night. What about as we go into Thursday and good chance for storms? Again, yep, that's going to happen in parts of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida with that boundary at the minimum. Meanwhile, on the north side of where the high pressure will be sitting, we will continue to remain active in the upper Midwest in particular. This zone that I have circled stretching out of these central plains and then up through places like Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan and surrounding zones, this is where I'd be particularly concerned about not only some severe weather rounds on and off this week, but also the potential for flooding as storms train over a lot of the same zones. By the time we get towards Friday, the ridge will be penetrated so much by various systems that around and east of the Mississippi Valley, many spots can expect at least an isolated, scattered in chance for storms. The pattern will only continue to get more active from there, I think, as new boundaries trying to move in out of the north-central U.S. will begin to roam a little bit more freely into the newly penetrated ridge. Before I dive deeper into talking about which areas could get severe weather in the coming days, I did want to overview which areas have the best chance of getting the heaviest precipitation over the course of this week. We're looking at the forecasted rainfall totals adding up from the Weather Prediction Center, starting through the first few days of this week. By the time we get through our Monday, Tuesday, and into the early part of Wednesday, notice that, especially down in the south central and the southeastern and even mid-Atlantic regions of the U.S., rain will be sparse, and a lot of those greens you see down in the mid-south will be from brief pop-up storms that then wane down quickly. On the flip side, on the periphery of the ridge, that's where we're going to get a lot more heavier rainfall, anywhere from New Mexico and far west Texas, extending through the Central Plains, and then even into the upper Midwest and lower Great Lakes region. A lot of those yellows, oranges, and reds indicate zones that will anticipate at least an inch of rain. Some spots could get locally closer to 3 to 5 plus inches of rain on the high end. That will certainly result in isolated to even scattered and flooding potential already as we go through the early part of this week. As we go beyond the Tuesday night and early Wednesday timeframe, we'll see more storms expanding through the northeastern U.S. And then, of course, with those storms penetrating the southern part of the ridge, we will get heavier rains moving into the southeastern U.S. That means that we'll get at least isolated, scattered, and flooding chances expanding across the board, anywhere from the southeastern coast of the country all the way on up there into parts of Minnesota, Iowa, and Wisconsin as the active weather continues there. Jet stream energy and the daytime heating will not only help in supporting the potential for flooding out of the heavier storms, we will also get the potential for severe weather, and I want to especially focus on the Monday and Monday night threat. Here's a look at the Monday, June 23rd severe storm outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. They have put down a level 1 to level 2 of 5 risk, stretching anywhere from parts of eastern Colorado all the way on up through parts of the upper peninsula of Michigan and in points in between. Instances of damaging winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour, as well as spotty hail. Those are going to be the main threats out of these storms. However, there could be a tornado here or there as well. The green shaded corridor from northern Kansas all the way and up through the upper peninsula of Michigan and in points in between indicates a 2% chance of tornadoes within 25 miles of a point. That is not zero, so be on alert and have a way to receive those weather warnings in case they pop up through Monday and Monday night. To give those of you in the risk area, or those of you who have loved ones in the risk area, a better idea of some timing, let's go ahead and play things out using this future radar from the HRRR model for the Monday and Monday evening hours. Starting as we go through the early to mid-afternoon hours of Monday, you can see that not much is anticipated to be going on at least through 1, 2, or 3 o'clock. There's probably going to be a severe storm here or there already by mid-afternoon, maybe up towards Wisconsin. That could be a focal spot where that happens. Overall, though, things aren't anticipated to pick up along our front until the evening really comes together. Once we get to around 5, 6, 7 o'clock, so again around the evening commute and then getting closer towards sundown, that's when we're going to likely see more of the storms firing on up. And they do look to cluster together fairly quickly, anywhere from the northeastern extent of the risk zone all the way back over towards western Kansas. As we see these storms moving through the marginal and especially the slight risk zones, again, we could see a 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gust in at least isolated scattered fashion. We could see some 1 to 2 inch hail. With them growing upscale quickly, tornadoes aren't anticipated in widespread fashion, but again, there is that 2% chance within 25 miles of a point, so keep that in mind. As the evening rolls on, we'll likely see these storms become messier quickly, so it's really going to be a quicker window through the late afternoon and the evening where we get the best chance for the strongest storms. With that being said, though, the flooding threat will only go up as the evening rolls on and we see storms possibly training over the same zones. Some gusty winds and small hail couldn't even be ruled out into the overnight hours and into early Tuesday either. While at the time of this video, there are not many areas in a level 2 of 5 severe weather risk for Tuesday and Tuesday night, tons of people, millions of people are in a level 1 of 5 already. That includes zones from the Central Plains and the lower Great Lakes all the way into the interior Northeast, where at least isolated wind gusts as well as hail meeting severe weather criteria could be possible with Tuesday storms. The best chance for even an all-hazard severe weather event is going to be possible back on over into the level 2 sliver that is currently issued from eastern Wyoming into southwestern South Dakota, as well as the panhandle part of Nebraska. Since I've spent the last couple of videos especially focusing on the heat wave to start the updates, I now want to focus in on the heat wave at the end of this one. However, I am also going to talk about how morning lows will not provide much relief from the big heat that will especially be prominent during the afternoons. Let's start with a look at the Monday time frame, where you see all these circles up here through the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. Those indicate record warm lows that are anticipated. That is right, record heat will not only be during the afternoon, where we see temperatures climbing on up through the 90s and even into the triple digits, but also during the morning as temperatures are going to be in the upper 70s and low 80s. That is way warmer than ever seen before, and that is why these are record lows anticipated. While that is the main record-breaking region, as we see mid and upper 70s there will still be plenty of mid 70s all the way back down to the Gulf Coast. That is anomalous warmth. It is just not quite record-breaking as it has been seen before since records have been kept. Monday afternoon, as I've been talking about in the last couple of videos, it is going to be atrociously hot, especially around and east of the plains in Mississippi Valley. Where you see those boxes each afternoon, those indicate record warm highs, and in many cases those are going to be in the mid and upper 90s there, anywhere from Michigan and Ohio over to the mid-Atlantic zone. That's especially going to be the case on Monday. Into Tuesday morning, once again, the Ohio Valley, the mid-Atlantic, the Northeast will be targets of relentless heat that really continues even through the overnight hours. We will barely hit the mid and upper 70s again on Tuesday morning. Those are record warm lows. And then we will be climbing back on up through the 80s and eventually towards the 90s and triple digits for Tuesday afternoon. Here's a look at those highs expected, especially around the Appalachians and eastward in the lowest elevation surrounding the Appalachians. Of course, that's where the heat will really be. And any of these areas with boxes will once again be anticipating record warm highs. So records will be going on in the morning and afternoon each day. Here we go towards Wednesday morning. Any relief? Not really. So many circles there in the Delmarva region and the mid-Atlantic region of the U.S. that you can't even tell what the actual temperature numbers are there. I'll go ahead and tell you. Mid and upper 70s for a lot of folks there right along the immediate East Coast. Very hot to start the day and warming up even more. Relentless heat each morning, each afternoon. This is very dangerous. And even all these 90s that extend back through the Mississippi Valley and the South Central Plains mean that you need to be checking on yourself, your pets, your elderly neighbors. One other thing that is important to be keeping in mind during a heat wave like this is that you need to be making sure that you are not leaving any pets or any children locked in a hot car. Even an adult, if you're leaving someone behind while you're going in to go shopping, for example, you do not want to be leaving them in a car that is hot and locked. They will bake in the sun, and it could turn deadly very quickly, so please be aware of that as well. That brings me to the end of this video, where I would love to remind you to now hit that subscribe button down below if you have not already. Even if you are subscribed, you can always check that you have your notifications turned on so that hopefully, if it works properly, your mobile device lets you know when I post a new forecast. My next one will likely be Tuesday, but until then, God bless you all. Thanks for watching. Leave any comments and questions you have down below, especially if you're answering that question that I asked at the beginning of the video. I will see ya in the next update.
One nation weather.